This is about what's happened to me before the end of the time. This is pre-tribulation, and I have been okay. I started hearing voices talking to me right before it was on Christmas, and I heard voices talking to me, and it was like they took me on some kind of fear run, but I didn't have no fear or anything, and I thought people was like after me and stuff. Like, I mean, I had literally almost lost my mind. I know people would think that something's wrong with me right now and whatnot, but I went on to believe this, and when I got into jail, because I accidentally, actually ended up breaking into a pharmacy because I thought people was trying to kill me, and just like people was um I accidentally like busted the window out of the pharmacy. I didn't break into it. I busted the window out of it and whatnot, and I got put in jail for just a little bit. And when I was in there, they started talking to me about how I had this memory of that I had a sold soul when I was 12 years old, and that it was to grow up to marry my one of the little boys that I had went to school with, and to be in a to be in a rock band, and to have $1 million. Well, I believed all this stuff, and I was in jail. I couldn't get out and talk to nobody, so I believed all this stuff, and started talking to him about actually my kids had gotten adopted out too. My 2 kids had gotten adopted out, and somehow the drug screen had kept failing for just an antidepressant. It wasn't even anything, and I ended up actually losing my kids. They got adopted out and stuff, and well, they started talking to me about how my kids was going to be, that they had a lawsuit, and I thought at this time that these people were like federal people, somebody from the government, and that they had done a study on me or something, or was watching people in our area, and they had found out that the social service had took my kids illegally, and then about the band and stuff, and that they was actually somebody that had come to set up a band or whatever. Well, when I got to thinking about it, I started actually talking about this creative ideal of having a heavy metal band and a little bit of, well, like a sound of a black metal band, but it wasn't really a sound of a black metal band. With face paint. The only reason I wanted to do it is because I wanted to wear face paint, and I don't even like black metal this much, and I didn't even listen to black metal at this point. I listened to heavy metal, and that's what I listened to. And literally, I might have had one band, a Dimmu Borgir band, and I didn't know none of these bands, but I found out later that these people, this is hell we're talking about. They control you and stuff, and they controlled me, obviously, to want to put a black metal side on me so that they could make a soul multiplier go on me, and that's what happened. And and the Lord knows this, and the Lord knows that I'm making this video, and I don't want to say nothing because the Lord has saved me, and I'll get to that later. But anyways, they put me in like a lot of like witchcraft and stuff, there was also white witchcraft, and sometimes I had put it like low, as like maybe thinking like Spirit Box and Ginger and just not good bands. And then this band I'm attached to, I had some thoughts, about Arm to Witness, because that's the band it was. And they're a little rock band. They got like 2,000 friends. They don't even have no friends. And I kind of just went around. They didn't put me in this band like to say you have to be in this band, or I would have conformed to being a rock idealisms. And I just went with the middle of what I knew is metal. But I had some thoughts in there about Arm the Witness or whatever, because that's who I was tied on to, and they was talking to me about it. Well, anyways, this is how the band thing got started. Okay, well, this is how I ended up developing thoughts of slight witchcraft, and a black metal side and a dark metal or a regular metal. And really the only thing that I'm gonna say is it could have been light metal, it could have been just regular metal, kind of like ginger, which could have been light metal. It didn't have to be dark metal, but they got me. I guess it's too carnal. It could have been if it would have had different tattoos, which I hadn't picked my tattoos out then, so I don't even know. It could have been a light carnal, which would have been probably a carnal, too carnal or whatever, because I put tattoos on and in my head or whatever, and I don't know. But anyways, later I went to prison, and they kept talking to me, and they made this warf thing or whatever, and told me that my parents had died and my children had died, and that people died in our warf. And I was talking to these people in the warf, and this is when the Lord took all my collagen out of me, and took my eyes and everything and my skin, and put stereostatic on me, and told me that the warf and everybody had made like billions of dollars, or like a couple billion, the warf had, from some kind of running money lines to it or something, from an Illuminati axis that this Amanda girl had started in jail with the band or whatever, that had pushed these carnal ideals on me from the get-go. Because it started out, they talked to me about being a vampire and putting vampire teeth in, so it was inflicted on me. It was insinuated that they put this on me. It was to open the ideals up is what makes me mad, because it was not even my idealisms from the first go around. And the worst, awfulest woman on earth that you could even get some kind of carnal mind from is the one that I'm not attached to, but I wouldn't even mention her name, and I'm not even going to mention none of the black metal bands. I don't want a testimony of that, but I just know that's enough said. It's black metal. I wouldn't mention. It's only be in my head only, because it's the most awfulest thing that could happen to somebody, and it's the most awfulest thing to have a story made like I had made, and have the Lord have to save me over one of my children, and a storyboard over my children started, that I'm connected to the souls of my children, and I'm just going to say that, which has got to do with my soul. And I just pray the Lord forgives me over it. And this warf or whatever, the money or whatever, Illuminati axis, I become an international Illuminati supermodel, and I know it sounds crazy or a top model, because of what I'd done in my head. And I was bald-headed, okay, and they made my hair grow out on me so I could think that I could put dreads in, or put some kind of hair in my head, okay, and I wasn't that pretty of a girl, but my collagen was like 72% in my eyes. I don't care, and I have a fake boob that has fell down, and it was lopsided, but I mean, I could have had. I just had thin hair and would have never been able to wear my hair down or whatever. But God stopped my hair from growing and let it fall out. And this was just to put carnal. And they made my mom's hair grow out a little bit so they could tie my mom to me with a carnal creator to it. And in the warf, okay, after all this, my cousin is in the Air Force, and they put my cousin into the Air Force, and I started thinking about going into the Air Force, and kind of fighting between wanting to have a NSA band, but not like a full band, like a complete worldwide band or whatever, and to do one in the, to kind of have one in the Air Force, like a side band or whatever. But this is why they're taking my collagen out of me and holding me in jail. And I honestly thought they was holding me in jail, and I could not get out and could not be released, and that that my whole entire family was dead, that they sent my family on a fear run and killed my family, and they killed my mom, and they killed my stepdad, and they killed my stepdad with the eel, and they killed my mom with a heart problem or some kind of heart, and that they killed my children, all but two that got adopted out, and that they killed my that they killed them with a heart throb or whatever, and that they went to pergatory and to heaven, or well, to fairy astral wake or something like that. I guess this is the one that's got my spirit on, and one's got my soul, and one has my because of some videos that I recorded of my little girl singing the Mariah Brink song and stuff. This woman in jail that I thought was a woman, but it was really the devil's hell computer or whatever, attached my little girl onto it as that she was a singer or whatever, or could have been had somebody in her head as a singer. But anyways, this warf or whatever took my college, and in California was where Mystery Babylon, so I become this big Mystery Babylon. I've never sung in my life, and I understand I have a soul multiplier on me over a story over my children that has to do with sold ovaries and my ovaries being sold and my eggs being sold. Okay, so my children end up having a sold identity from me, and that's all I'm going to say. And only one of them got half of this sold identity cut off, and this is one that's name is Mordrana. Okay, and Mordrana's name is Mordrana Willis, so they controlled my name for my child and named her Mordrana, and this has got to do with taking more off of the world, and instead it become less or whatever. But she's called Mordrana, so I mean it's Mordrana, like Mordrana, the collagen out of me, you know, and the hay. My other one that lived, or whatever, in this warf thing, his name's Hadron, and Hadron Leoric, and Leoric's out of Skyrim. I mean, out of Diablo. Not, anyway, it don't have nothing to do with that. But anyways, his name is, he's my hay maker, or whatever, in the, whatever. But anyways, I've never sung in Brian band, so honestly, I don't know how deep hell is, and I don't want to know, so I don't want to misjudge it or anything, because honestly, I only have 2 levels, and I don't know if that's too much or if it's not, you know, because it's 2 levels, and it's a volcano. The first level is a freak accident. I mean, I know, because other people are going to think it's 2, but that's a freak accident to have happen. The first part of it, up to the bowels of content's a freak accident. I thought I was somewhere where Hitler was at or something when they first started telling me that I was in the bowels of content, in magma or something with 90% eternity. And then I get up there to a freaking international something, and it's like 1,800 or something like that, or I don't know, eternity, but I've got that part turned off. I've got the world part turned off, and I'm down to the national part. Almost. But this is just to remove my carnal. And I just hope, Lord, I praise the Lord. And I praise the Lord for removing my daughter's part, the Mordrana part, because this is what gave me the warf, and the warf is what's got my good mother part to me. And not a sold mother, and a good mother. And yes, and that's very scary, because I understand it sounds bad, and I'm the one that made up this story. And it's very downgrading, and it's very, very irresponsible, and I think it's still, when you got a story like this, and you don't end up in a band, and you don't end up actually in a freaking band, where you end up actually in a band, and you end up, we're a carnal person, and you've never in your life been carnal, and I understand this. I've never in my life been carnal, and I've never sung a song. I have ideals, and that's all I have. And in 2 years I've done this, and I have the stuff that some people will never have. And these people, I don't want to know where they go to, but because I know they go way worse than I do. And God has been very good. God has been beyond good, because I have a godalter. And these people that are in bad dark bands don't have godalters. They do not have dark altars. You don't see forgiveness in them. I've done looked it up. You see some with rock bands that have some kind of stuff. There's a lot of Christian metal bands, and there's a lot of Christian rock bands that are out. And there are a lot of Christian dark metal bands and stuff. So they are Christian stuff that goes on, and I praise the Lord for making that happen and making that possible for these people. Because without a Christian microphone, it don't matter, a God microphone or something, and you end up having something, and it looks like the whole world's set up anyways, not have a bit of witchcraft or any kind of witchcraft lyrics, and just have dark lyrics besides black metal, besides like one or two bands I've seen. And the whole entire world don't seem to have the same, I don't know, it's like the whole entire world set up for some kind of forgiveness for them. But in 7 years, and I'm sure they will be forgiveness for them in 7 years. I'm sure they will, and I'm sure they will. But it's not going to be a good thing to happen. It's going to be hard for people to deal with. It's going to be, these swords that we get on us in the Book of Revelations is reprogramming swords, and it's swords that's going to be keep us up to torment us. And the locusts, there's probably going to be sweet locusts and certain amount of locusts and stuff that hits you and stuff. And I have the mark of the beast on my forehead that's not being removed. And you know what? I have a rat trap set up in my basement that I can't get my freaking parents to do anything, because I don't know, I can't even explain it. But you have lab rats, and don't be around zoological animals. Like, people out there wouldn't know what's going on. And we have reprogramming with our food. Like, the Lord's have been very good to take the food that I eat, cause you also have that. But anyways, this warf, was where the Air Force come in, and I had an Air Force uniform. I also had the thoughts of going to the Army. That's where my carnal was at, and the Air Force is where my real halo's at and stuff. And I thank the Lord every day for everything He's done for me, because I'd be lost without this warf. And I'd be lost without this warf and this godalter. I'd be lost, because I'd ended up having a dark carnal, and I'd ended up having Luciferian on me and witchcraft on me. And He's kept me from blaspheme, and He's kept me from everything, and He's kept me from anything. So please don't think that I'm saying anything or complaining about anything. I'm not happy that I'm in hell. And I'm not happy that I don't get to go to heaven with everybody in my work, because I live in Southwest Virginia, where we're all Christian people, and the only thing I listen to is heavy metal, and I never did even look up any kind of Luciferian or any kind of bad witchcraft. Really, I wasn't that freaking, it just wasn't something to I looked at it, but not like what this turned into. And literally 6 freaking months, I literally put myself in with 3 freaking levels of hell on me. In 3 months, my life was over with. In 3 months, and that's what makes me mad. But I'll have a year, a little over a year, that the Lord's. I went to church, and I've been baptized, and I've been learning the Bible, which I already knew the Bible. I'm trying to memorize it and learn stuff. And I'm trying to learn off Christian people, and I've started to try to, the Lord's helped me to have witness testimony and stuff, and I made the warf and stuff. I made the warf half Christian, and tried to take the Mystery Babylon loose and put New Jerusalem up, and that's the only thing that saved me. And the rest is white witchcraft and holy witchcraft, and that was probably only to deprogram me from the dark witchcraft or singing or whatever, or the dark singing, and just the darkness and the carnal, and to become a Kundalini warf or whatever, but I don't know that my first kid that don't have the soul takes the world off me. It took the majority of the warf off me. And if it would have took the whole entire world off me, and took me down to national, and I could and godalter, I would have been overjoyed. But I want to catch up and go to purgatory, and I want to catch up and go to purgatory. And I still worry that I've got holy blaspheme on me, and the Lord forbid, and I rebuke that with everything in me. But I don't worry about it right now because they tell me that it's blaspheme, and that it's not nothing to worry about, and that it's not going to hold my carnal in or anything. So I will get that taken off. And I just pray with everything in me. I just pray with everything in me that I don't have nothing like it, because I want to go to purgatory. I want to go to purgatory. I want to go to heaven. I want to go to heaven. I want to go to heaven, but I mean, that's what's called heaven ridicule, because I have way too much. There's nobody around in my area that will even be able to, there'll be people in this area that goes to heaven like I'm going to heaven. That's pastors and church people and stuff, and that's what God's helped me with. He's helped me with the churches and the areas and stuff, and the churches, the world churches and stuff, and the area and the churches to help take my carnal off me and give me a holy rebuilder, and the holy harness me and stuff, and the not holy harvest me and the holy harness me, because that's obviously what happened to me. Our area literally has nobody that's not going to go to heaven but me. I'm the only person. I live in Southwest Virginia, and the little band that I'm attached to has 2,000 friends, and they're Christian singers. And I thank God for that, because I have an altar with them. Poet the band or whatever, and Arm the Witness, and Standing at the Summit ain't even recognizable, but they all sing about me and what happened to me. The names of them are about me, but the lyrics do not. They're usually about like girlfriends, just normal rock lyrics. And thank God, because I think that's my godalter. That's where my godalter come from and stuff. And they got one Christian song, and they got a Christian testimony of writing on the internet and stuff, but they're just not known. But anyways, I'm